Welcome everyone to part 4 of the Tekno NT48 2.0 Nitro Truggy Build. In this video we wrap up the build, installing the electronics, steering and throttle linkage, body, wheels and tires, as well as the engine parts. At the time of this video we didn't have our engine in yet, so we'll assemble everything we can without it, for now. Okay, let's get on with the build by opening bag N. Pre-thread the screws into the plastic chassis plates. This will make it a little easier to attach to the chassis. As a reminder, if you're using a powered driver to install the screws, set it at a very low setting, like 1. Then go back and hand tighten all the screws. This will help prevent over-tightening of the screws and stripping one of them out. If you're not using a transponder at the moment, it's a good idea to install the mounting screws to help keep track of them. Tekno has a great wire routing system in place to help tuck them out of the way for a very clean install. If you're using a power switch, install it in this mount to make it easy to access. The lids for the receiver and battery box are different, so make sure you're installing the correct one in the correct place. Bag O contains a lot of parts for the engine install. Again, since we don't have our engine yet, we're going to bypass quite a bit of this for now. Don't tighten these M4 screws down all the way just yet. We'll do that once we get them all installed. Now that they're all installed, go back and tighten up all of the M4 screws. When your engine is installed, you'll use these to set the gear mesh between your spur and pinion gear. Build the steering drag link. There is no set length given by Tekno, so we'll adjust that in a later step. This is also a good time to mention our CompetitionX turnbuckle building tool works great for this. Link is in the description. Check the manual for the orientation of the servo horn. This is also where you'll be shortening or lengthening the turnbuckle to get the parts parallel. This little lock nut is a bit tricky to install, but it is recommended that you get it in the groove prior to attaching the steering link. Now that the link is installed, adjust it so that the servo horn and servo saver arm are parallel. Note, the throttle linkage is shorter than the two brake linkages. None of them have a designated length, so you'll have to eyeball it for now. The rubber bump stops have a flat side and a curved side. Make sure the flat side faces the throttle spring. For now, tighten the adjuster so the spring has a teeny tiny bit of compression on it. You can finalize this when it's attached to the engine. This next part pretty much sucks. You have to thread the brake rod through the swivel piece, twice. If you have a way to chuck it into a Dremel, that will help. If not, well, sorry. Adding the brake linkages to the brake horn requires a little bit of patience. It's not hard, but does require you to make sure everything is spot on. Align the first brake adjuster to the end of the rod. Align the second brake adjuster a little farther up the rod. Before pressing the horn onto the servo, feed the upper and lower brake rods through the rod guides. The flat side of the rubber bump stop should be facing the O-rings. Tighten both brake adjusters down while still allowing a little wiggle room on the linkage. You can adjust each brake lever individually at a later time. Note the direction and orientation of the front tank mount. The lower part keys into the chassis. grommets take a little coaxing to get them in the holes. Make sure the grommets are seated all the way. The clunks, take inserts, or volume compensators, whatever you call them, can be inserted per your racing rules. If you're out to just have fun, leave them out and extend your run times. When installing, don't over-tighten these screws. You want the tank to float a little bit. These hidden nuts might take a few seconds to install correctly. We're only showing one, but you'll need to install a second one in the other wing mount. These 14mm screws feed into the hidden M3 lock nuts. Take it slow to help prevent cross-threading. Fit your wheels and tires to the Truggy. We're starting off with a set of AKA scribbles mounted on their white dish wheels. Paint, cut out, and mount the Tekno Truggy body. We're going with our standard colors thanks to Sharkbait Designworks. Matt did an amazing job, as usual, so much so that we hate to run the truck. The only thing we suggest is to cut out the rear body mounts as shown. This allows the chassis to flex a little and not overly stress out the rear body mounting holes. Install the front nose cone of the NT48 2.0. We made a little mistake with ours though. We added thread locker to the screws that unfortunately made its way to the Lexan, attacking it and making it brittle. No worries though, a few minutes of MacGyver action and it's now super strong. Tekno NT48 2.0 complete. This Truggy pretty much fell together with a perfect parts fit and hardware count. Even with this slightly odd body shape, this thing looks amazing and we can't wait to get it out on the track. A big thanks to Tekno RC, aka Futaba and MKS for the support parts for the build. Links for these parts are listed below. And a huge thanks to you for following along with the build. We truly appreciate your support.